Been working on the old speaker here, getting all this cadmium crap off here using the old nail jelly trick. As you can see, it's coming along very nice. It's cleaning up real good. All I got left to do is this back section right here. Well, that's it for our speaker. Looks very nice. Turned out much better than I expected. Looks real good. All that yellow greenish crap is gone. This takes a little patience, a little time, a little effort, but you know, we're never in a hurry on this stuff. So that's what she's got. Now what I'm going to do is flip that baby over, and we're going to patch a few cracks in the speaker. The cracks on this speaker, you probably can't see it in the camera, but it runs from there all the way across up to here. And then of course these you'll be able to see along the edge. And there might be one other, yeah there is, way over here. Now what I'm going to do, I've pushed gently, very gently from underneath. I pushed up the speaker cone to where it sort of stays in shape. Before I did that, this portion right here was lower than the rest of it, so I kind of pushed it up until it sort of popped above it and dropped down, and it stayed in shape. Now a lot of people repair speaker cones in many different ways. My way is the way I found best. I can't help it. I've tried all kinds of ways. I've tried other people's ways. You know, in my mind, I picked a little bit here and a little bit there from different people and came up with my own idea, my own solution, kind of my own little mixture. And I've found, as a result of a suggestion from someone, that these softener things they use in dryers, I forget what they're called, softener cloth, fabric softener things. Anyway, these things are strong. It's almost like the old silk span we used to have on model airplanes years ago. Well, you can't hardly tear that stuff. And you cut it to the right size and it will make that speaker. It just really strengthens it up after you've laid it, after you've cut it properly and laid it along the broken portion of the speaker. Now, what I'm going to do is first lay a little bit of this liquid tape. This stuff is so good for so many things. I'm going to lay a little bit of that liquid tape along that seam and let it dry. And a little bit over there to the other places and let it dry. Except for the edge. I'm not going to do the edge. What I have here is a brand new jar of liquid tape. And it's nice and just nice and creamy almost. And I'm going to go ahead and lay a little of that stuff across that seam of that speaker where that crack is. I'm just going to let it dry, and it will help put that together. But we're also, when we're done, we're going to have to put some of that softener fabric over the top of it. I just want to kind of get it to where it's a little stronger before I go laying the cloth over the top. Let me finish this up and I'll show you what we got when we're done. Well, that's what we've got so far. Now I'm going to pretty much let that dry. Meanwhile, I'll go ahead and cut out a couple of strips of this with the old scissors here. See if I can't get something that kind of looks like that. The liquid tape is dry and it's fairly solid, you know. I mean, if I was to lightly press on it, it's not going to separate. But it wouldn't last long once you turn on the radio and start playing it. So what we're going to do is I've cut a piece of that dryer softener cloth, I guess is what they call it. I've cut it roughly to the shape of the crack. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sort of mark this a little bit with a pencil, just very lightly. I'm going to be real careful. This is just kind of a rough deal. Sometimes you can't do that on a black speaker. Fortunately, this is light tan. And I can kind of keep my next layer of liquid tape between those lines a little bit. So let me get that first coat on there. Alright, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and keep it somewhat between those lines. Just got to go easy now. This brush, if you're not careful, can also break that speaker. There's a crack up in this area here. Get a little bit more. Put a little more over in this area. There's a crack up in there. Now what I'm going to do is lay that paper or that softener fabric across there and press it down with my fingers. I'll get back with you when that's done. Alright, I've got it pretty well held in place. It's still wet. But now I'm going to take I'm going to take this and put it right over the top. Some people use tissue paper. Some people use tape. Some people just put, just old liquid tape on there and let it ride. I don't like that idea at all. Not quite enough. I want this thing to last for quite a while. Then, of course, there's the professional speaker repair guy that would say, nah, you don't want to do it that way. Well, fine, if he wants to do it for me for free, not a problem. I will do it my way meanwhile. And this, I'll tell you what, this will give you a long-lasting repair. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it's not the ugliest thing either. Got to kind of take your time and work your way at it. Now when that dries, that will be very solid, and I don't have to worry about it cracking. And it has good sound quality when it's done too. Some of you have a 630 that you'll be working on in the future, or sometime in the future you'll buy one and try to work on it. Two things I wanted to point out. There is a wire right here, and it's connected to the center pin on the speaker plug. Now there's two wires there. The bottom one down here you see runs back to the 42, the plate of the 42 tube. That one right there. This one runs over and connects to one side of the 0.09 microfarad capacitor in this Bakelite block. And then it goes through the capacitor and over to ground. Problem: it's not on the schematic. Not on the schematic. Why is it there? It appears to be a factory installation. They soldered it to a little circuit board here, and then they soldered or a little terminal board here rather, and then they soldered the terminal board to the little ear on this one connector. I think it's just being used as an RF bypass cap. So what I did, I went ahead and just added it on the schematic. Here it is right here. It's coming off the 42 pin, and here's the capacitor. It's a 0.09 microfarad to ground. That is nowhere on the schematic. The second thing I wanted to point out, let me push this back here a little bit. We're back to that missing 0.05 microfarad capacitor right here. Now you'll notice that one side of it comes down and connects to one side of the 8 microfarad electrolytic. The other side goes north, west, south, and connects to the other to one side of the other 8 microfarad capacitor. So what I'm going to be doing here is connecting this 0.05 microfarad capacitor across these two electrolytics like that. And of course we know that these electrolytics go out to the speaker plug. In the parts drawings and everything, it shows this thing being soldered across the speaker connectors. I'm trying to stay away from that speaker plug, as I told you. So I'll just put it on the terminal strip. I'll show you how that's done. Here are the two wires I ran to the speaker plug pins from the two 8 microfarad electrolytics. They connect to the terminal strip right here and right here, right there. So I'm going to have to put this capacitor across these two connectors. But the way I'm going to do it, see that hole down in there? I hope you can see that. There's a hole. Hope you can see that. Anyway, there's a hole right here and a hole right there. I'm going to mount this below the electrolytic with the leads through those two holes, soldered from the other side. There it is, mounted on the board. One lead is here. The other lead is down in there, right there. Let me see, right there. What I'm going to do is solder it in place, and then I'm going to take my cutters, cut off this lead, and cut off that lead, and it'll be right there where the whole world can see it. And there it is, soldered in. We'll go ahead and snip off the lead now. There's one lead. And I will get up in there and get the other one out, get that cut, and then we will go ahead and remove each one. And there they are. I just love terminal strips. One more thing about this wire that comes from the speaker plug over to this 0.09 microfarad cap that's not on the schematic. Look how long that wire is. And it's long for a reason. This thing is hooked to the speaker. Eliminate its hum. Okay? They wanted to be able to push that thing all the way down into the bottom, close to the bottom of the chassis, where I was telling you how hum can be eliminated or cut way down by keeping wires close to the chassis. If they'd have run that straight over, they probably would have picked up a ton of hum. So I'm going to have to really arrange that thing so it's almost laying flat. That's why the extra wire is there. Here you can see what I did was I slipped it up underneath the Bakelite block. It's now between the block and the chassis. Good position for it. That's it for the speaker. It may not look like the prettiest thing in the world, but I assure you that thing is strong now. Very solid. Very solid. No more rips, no more little tears. It will last a long time. That's the way I do it. You can do it a million different ways. But no matter how you choose to repair your speaker cones, whenever you're done, if you're not ready to put it back in the radio, put the cover back on and tape it in place. Never fail to do this.